For some reason, he decided to give it up in the middle of the year. So he came out and he learned how to wrestle. Now his senior year, he became an outstanding wrestler, and he was undefeated. So I'm on the committee for seeding in the states, for the wrestling state tournament. And I want to get him seated, in a different bracket than what they were trying to do at that time at the seeding meeting. And there was one kid who was from Western Massachusetts, Springfield Cathedral, who was an outstanding wrestler in the state. Well, I don't want this young man in that bracket. I wanted him in the other one because I wanted him to meet him in the finals, not get knocked out by him, prior to that. So finally, there's one guy at the seating meeting. He says, well, here's a guy here. He was AAU weightlifting champion from Norwood, and he's better. I said, what do you mean he's better? Oh, he's AAU weightlifter. I said, there's no weightlifting on the match when we're wrestling, So finally I said, look, I'll make a bet with you that my guy can beat him. So to get my wrestler into the right bracket, they had to put him with this guy to wrestle. But that coach didn't know that we had scrimmage in Norwood, and I hate to say it, but it was John Stallo. John Stallo had handled him. So, and it was no problem. So I felt pretty confident that I might win that bet. Well, you know what the bet was? It was a bottle of Shivers. And the whole thing was, I think, and the tournament's at Brockton. And the thing is that everybody there, I think, knew it. I think all the coaches knew that there was a bet on the match. And then somehow it might have slipped out to the kids, so the place is going wild. And so John Starler now meets this kid from Norwood, who supposedly can beat Starler. What Starler do, he takes him, turns him over, it's all over. And Starler wins, and that was it, and I got my bottle on it. But I didn't tell John until John graduated, and then John came back and was an assistant coach for me, and he did a great job coaching the line. And you know what? I had a number of the former players, like Tommy Rizzuti, come back and coach. I had Charlie Conley, and a number of the kids, and McCallum, if I'm not mistaken, and a number of the kids. And it's nice to see one thing. This young man here played for me, and you know what I'm glad to see? That he is back in the system as an administrator, and he's doing one heck of a job. He took me around. I want to thank him. He took me around Newton South and showed me everything there. So I couldn't believe it. As you know what I told him? As you know, it almost makes you want to come back and teach. I'm going to tell you, it's amazing when you see what they have there. It's really 1,000% better than when we were there. And I'll tell you what, Scott, you've done one heck of a job organizing this committee, the committee for the Hall of Fame, putting everything together, the boosters. And as George said, I love Newton South also. I still, now I'm coaching in Virginia. There was somebody said, go west, young man. Well, heck, that was for young men. So since I was a little long in the years, I went south. And so I'm down there in Virginia coaching now. And why'd I go to Virginia? Well, I went to undergraduate school there. I went to George Washington. And at that time, they had football, and we played even played Bear Bryant's team when he was coaching at Kentucky, but it was great. And so I went back there, and it's my home now. And a lot of the kids I played ball with in college, we get together in my house and we play cards once a week. So it's nice. It's home. But I'll tell you one thing, Newton South is still in my mind. I always think about it. And I told Steve Ward when I saw Steve, I was coaching at this school there, St. John's, when I first went down there, because I knew the people at St. John's and they wanted me to come there and coach. Well, I tell you, you know what big is? I had two tackles. One weighed 295, the other guy was 285, and they were 6'5" and 6'4", and then they went on and started for 3 years in Maryland. So unbelievable talent, and it is so enjoyable working down there, and it's a lot of fun. And so as somebody said, I don't know if they said it or not, but this was 58 years of my coaching football. I had 28 years of coaching football at Newton South, teaching science, and it was the greatest experience I ever had. And I want to thank the Newton community for letting me come and be part of the community. And it was good enough for me to move my family to Newton, and we lived here for a good portion of my career. And both of my sons were able to attend Newton South and get the best education possible. And I'm exposed to a lot of schools down there, and that, I'll tell you what, you can't beat Newton South. It is the best. And you are. It is the best. And Van, you did a heck of a job. We had a lot of fun, and a great administrator, and I want to thank you for coming tonight. I consider it an honor that you did show up, and I want to again thank all the players that had the opportunity to coach. And the one thing, Mike Antonellis, he said, I always said, and I guess I said a lot of things, he said, don't think you screw up. Mike is right. And I still do say that. And you say, well, why do you say that? Well, you know, in football, you're teaching certain techniques, how to play a certain position. And what do? You repeat so that eventually when you see certain things, you react to it. If you have to think, that fraction of a second is too late. And, well, that's my way of thinking about it anyways. And I used to tell the kids, don't think you'll screw up. But I'll tell you something about Mike Antonellis. We were playing Boston Tech, and I tell you what, he made the greatest catch that I've ever seen in football, and it was better than anyone, even in the pros, couldn't do what he did. We were playing Boston Tech. They were undefeated, and I said, Pete, what are we going to do? The first play of the game, I said, heck, we'll throw a screen pass. They'll never expect it. What this do is Anglin gets the ball. He goes 70 yards for a touchdown. So we got one. So we get the ball again. I said, what the heck? Why not throw a screen again? So we threw it. Anglin gets the ball. He goes down. He gets tackled on the one. So now we score again. Okay, that's all right. So it goes back and forth. We go in at halftime. We're down by one. The reason is they had a kid by the name of Jeter who was one of the fastest kids in the state. Well, you know, you can't coach speed. So he gets out in the open, he's gone. So we got to chase him. You can't catch him. So we come out the second half, and we're going back and forth. And eventually, Boston Tech is down to our 3-yard line. We stop him. Well, then we started a drive for 97 yards. The quarterback was Joe Spagnuolo. Great quarterback. And Mike was at the end, and we had some other guys too, but the whole thing was I called the play. Joe Spagnuolo had